He's the head coach of the Memphis Grizzlies. And by the way, was a very good player. Sometimes people forget when they see these coaches like Jerry Sloan, guys who played and you don't remember. Lionel Hollins, very good college player, won a championship with Bill Walton with the Blazers back in 1977. And Lionel Hollins joins us now. Lionel, how are you?
I'm doing great, Dan. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm old enough to remember those Portland Trail Blazers. And that style, that's the best year I ever had watching NBA basketball because of the style that you guys play. Can you have that same style in today's NBA?
Well, you can. I think, it's a little more difficult because of salary cap restrictions and, the piecemealing players together and having more role players than complete basketball players because of the salary cap. But I think it's a mentality of a group and the skill level of a group. And I thought, our team was definitely very skilled passing and high basketball IQ-wise. And, we were a good defensive team as well, but we could get out and run with the best of them. And we played with each other. I mean, it was a great feeling to know that everybody had equal opportunity. And, when you were open, you shot, and when you weren't, you passed it. Simple as that.
But you beat a star-studded Sixers team that had George McGinnis and Dr. J and World B. Free. I think he was Lloyd at the time. Daryl Dawkins. But you guys, it was really the sum of the parts of that you had a bunch of guys. Walton, obviously great, and Maurice Lucas great, and then you had a bunch of just sprinters on that team. Can you still have that? The team can beat the three superstars, like the Miami Heat.
I think that it's been shown. Detroit Pistons beat a star-studded Lakers team bad, but usually the team that you're talking about with stars today are better teams. I think the Lakers with Kobe and Shaq, they were a better team. The Lakers with Pau Gasol and Kobe were a better team. I mean, the San Antonio Spurs, with Ginobili and Parker and Duncan, they still were a very good team. They were the best team. The Miami Heat last year were the best team. Nobody could out-team them. And I thought the year before when they lost to Dallas, it wasn't quite there for Miami. But they got it together, and that's why they're one of the best teams in the league. It's not just because of their stars, but it's because they're also a great team. And I think team always overcomes individual talent, whether it's one or two guys, and that's how the game was created, to be five players playing as one, sharing, seeing the same opportunities and seeing the same problems defensively and seeing the same opportunities offensively.
He's Lionel Hollins, Memphis head coach. Got the Spurs coming up, joining us, Dan Patrick Show. The difference in prepping for the Spurs and the Warriors is what?
Like night and day. The Warriors like to play really small and spread the court and shoot a lot of threes. And we fortunately had a success against them because of our big guys on the glass. We really hurt them inside, posting and also rebounding. The Spurs play bigger. They have the small group that they go with, which will give us, concern. But, for the most part, they keep very conventional, and they're a very, very good running team. Their style has shifted in the last couple of years without dominating inside with Duncan. They kind of play in the flow a lot better, and they get up and down the court, and they try to attack you in space. So it's going to be a heck of a series, and I don't know if I'm glad that it's San Antonio, and I don't know if I'm sad if it's not Golden State, because they're both very, very tough opponents.
Why aren't you under contract for next season?
Well, I think because new ownership came in, and we were right into the beginning of the season, and they didn't know me, and they didn't know, where they were going. And as we went along, we meshed personality-wise, and we meshed in terms of, our goals. And they saw that I wasn't any different than they were, and where I wanted to be and what I wanted to do as far as from a basketball perspective. And then at that point, it was, into the season and not wanting to go through a protracted negotiation, from their perspective. I don't think it would have been protracted, but that's That's my opinion, but I understand. And I've been, on one-year contracts for a number of years as an assistant coach, and your contract comes up and you go get another one. And, if you don't get renewed, which I was fortunate there to only have that happen a couple of times, you move on to another team. But, it's not as big an issue as everybody tries to make it out to be. It could have been an issue because players know when coaches are lame ducks. Fortunately for me, I have a very good group that, saw the bigger picture, and it wasn't just about me and whether or not I was going to be there. It was about them and them wanting to be as fit as they could be.
You expect to be there next year?
I expect to be here.
Okay. You were an eyewitness to one of the great sporting achievements of my life.
And what was that?
Oh, come on, Lionel. You don't remember when the Suns were playing the Bulls in the NBA Finals, and I had the shooting contest with Dan Marley prior to practice? No, I beat him.
I remember that. I remember that. I remember you talking about it forever, too, after that.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't stop. Well, I mean, come on. How many times do you bring up the 77 Portland Trailblazers? Probably 3 or 4 times a day, right?
I don't bring it up. Other people do. But Dan, let me say this to you. There's a cartoon. And there's a son and his dad have been playing horse in the driveway, and the dad has a ladder, and he's cutting down the nets, and the son says to the dad, "Dad, you just beat me in horse. You don't have to cut down the net. You just beat Dan in a pre-practice. You probably hadn't even shot these threes yet, so you don't have to cut down the net."
I was in a suit that day, if you'll remember. And you're the one that yelled out, "You only get 5 warm-up shots." Marley had just taken money from Frank Johnson, so I hit Marley in the peak of his three-point shooting career, and little old Danny Patrick from Mason, Ohio, took off his sport coat, handed it to somebody, and it was as if Superman came out of that phone booth, and I crushed him. And then the next night, I think he hit 8 or 9 three-pointers. He said it was the worst night to the best night in his NBA career.
Well, then you contributed to a lot of success. But as I'm going to tell you what you said earlier, people don't remember that I was a good player. Well, people don't remember Dan Marley was a good player. So half the people listening aren't even aware that who he was, so they don't know if it was a good thing or a bad thing.
But you're here to validate Marley was pretty good.
Marley was one of the all-time great three-point shooters.
There you go. That's all I needed to hear, L-Train. That's it right there.
I make your day. Okay, I'm happy.
There you go. Now it's worthwhile having you on the show. Congratulations on meeting the Spurs there. And thanks for joining us, Lionel.
Thank you, Dan, for having me.
All right. That's Lionel Hollins. Man, was that so difficult? Just say you saw it. These guys hate when, one of the reporters are talking hairdos goes out there and actually challenges these guys.